Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Those of you who are new, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I have a really interesting topic for you guys today. Well, at least for this video, because I'm going to try and upload some more today. Listen, guys. Social media, especially mainstream media, will have you believe that women have always been at a disadvantage, right? That men have always been privileged, that men have always had it good, right? I'm here to tell you that's complete bullshit, right? Anybody remember how the ending of Titanic went? You know, Jack was hanging off that fucking 15-foot board, you know, had all that board to use. Rose had all that wood. She got wood, she already got some wood, right? And she needed more of it. You know, so, and she couldn't scoot over. That board could fit 3 people on it, dude. Come on, man. That's Hollywood, obviously, you know. And my boy decided to cuck himself. Save some pussy for the rest of us. In the end, she was still thinking about him. Man, Alpha widowed like a motherfucker. Anyways, that is the reality of it, though, right? When you have situations that happen like that, catastrophes that happen like that, it's always the women and children that go first and the men that step up and take care of business. Always. Always. That's why we hardly ever see any female warriors, you know? One of the only ones that we ever really know about, right, are the Amazons from the Dahomey, right? I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, please correct me in the comments, right? And of course you have your snipers from, you know, Russia in World War II, right? I mean, you have all kinds of, you know, examples like Sinane, Joan of Arc. You know, you have all of these other, you know, women who have been in these positions, right? However, that hasn't been really the majority, right? And those are typically the exceptions, obviously. And so it's not that women have always had it easy, right? The thing is they have had an easier life than compared to us men, right? Especially here in modern times. I mean, women here are inventing things to replace themselves. I mean, the very person who invented the dishwasher was a woman, Josephine Cochrane. They're inventing things to replace themselves, boys. It started early. So so it was only very recently, right, that women began to really step out of the private spaces and into the public spaces, right? That's the terminology that was used in the late 1800s, early 1900s, at the time of the progressive era. I don't agree with the time, right? The era that they say that the progressive era is in, right? Because you had the Reformation and everything that happened well before, you know, this progressive era. You know, weapons were becoming more technologically advanced. Steam engines were becoming more of a thing. You know, we had more, especially economics. Economics were, but that's besides the point, right? We're not talking about economics or anything like that. The first woman that was elected into office, not Susan B. Anthony. No, dude, what was her name? It was Susan something. She was elected to Argonia, Kansas, I believe, in 1870, I believe, 1870. Boys, check on that for me. First woman elected in Argonia, Kansas, or is it Arkansas? It's been a while since I looked at that information. But anyways, you get the point. The first woman that was elected as mayor, right, in office was in 1870. Okay, and of course you have examples. Like I want to go with the main one here. Elizabeth I, right, in the 1600s. You had Cleopatra, all of the really famous ones, in these positions. And then you also had women, and you had women everywhere in the public and private spaces. You couldn't separate the two, and women have always had a hand in economics, whether they were entertainers, they were dancers, they were servants, they were they worked for the elites of the society, right? I mean, women were always involved. Yet, when it came to time to go to war, right, the women were always the ones that were passed over. Obviously, there's a reason for that. They're not as physically capable as we are. Duh, So, what I'm going to get into, right, is what a lot of course, a lot of us guys, that have stumbled upon this information, we already know how privileged women were, right? But what I'm going to tell you is new information. I did a paper over the suffrage movement, and hang on. Stay with me. All right, stay with me. I know you guys are rolling your fucking eyes and you're like, oh my God, here we go again with the suffrage movement. Listen, the anti-suffragists, they were right, man. They were right. And most of them were women. Most. And there was a reason for that too. I've seen claims that 1/3 was against, the right to vote and right and work and everything like that, and 1/3 was for it, and then another third just didn't care, right? I don't believe that to be the case, simply because you see all these women today that don't like working and would much rather be at home with the family today, obviously. But there was a really interesting paper that was written by a author named Oda, and I forget her name. She was a European. She was a British novelist, right? And one that was lost to the history books, obviously, because we wanted to focus more on women's issues and prop up women. I hate that shit, man. Anyways. So what she wrote, right, was an excerpt called The New Woman. And what she explained, right, that these women that were coming up that were pushing all of this feminist, you know what I'm talking about, ideology and all this stuff, explained exactly the way that women behave today. Exactly, right? That they are entitled, they are selfish, they see themselves as superior to men, right? They see men as dumb, incompetent, right? Controlling, toxic, while at the same time, these women are the dumbest things to walk the fucking earth. They have no self-awareness. They can't take accountability for anything, right? Matter of fact, they do everything they can to escape accountability, right? They can't handle responsibility at all. And this is what's talked about in The New Woman. I would highly advise you go read it. I'm telling you, it's really going to open your eyes, man. It really is. It's crazy. You know, we were having these conversations well before today. Over 100 years ago, we were having this conversation. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy, man. And this is just how privileged women are, dude. They can have a voice to vote, right? Yet are still not required to sign up for selective service. Now look, are you truly equal? And ladies, are you truly equal if you can vote but you don't get drafted? I don't think so. So if you want to truly be equal, how about you sign up for selective service? Right? And then when one of your representatives wants to send you to Afghanistan, again, Afghanistan 2.0, you know, you can go with the men. You can be equal. Of course, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Of course, listen, you know, I respect both men and women that are still in. Look, y'all the real ones, all right? I appreciate you guys taking the mantle. My hat is off to you. You guys can embrace the suck too. Oh man. So, but women have always had it a lot easier, right? And a lot of people will say, oh well, you know, they always depended on men and they never really had anything for themselves. That's not true. Now, it is true that they were dependent on the men that they were with. That's very true. But it's not like they never had anything to begin with. You know, women were very prominent in land ownership and the economic trade back when Jamestown was being established. Right? Single women had land. They did. They owned their own land. The only time that they gave up their land is when they were married. And you have to understand that these people were religious. They were Christian. They had a certain way of life. And since the man was the head of household, all of the responsibilities went over to him. Also, all of the risk. Since the man is since the man is responsible for the entire house, right? He also bears the risk of whatever direction that it goes in, whether it's good or bad. You know, but that's the way it's always been. You know, because it's worked, right? And the reason why so many people are depressed today is because it doesn't work. You know, and women have been indoctrinated and taught to believe that they're not privileged today. That you just can't get ahead. Yet you have all of this DEI programming that puts you above everybody else, or excuse me, that will put you above a man almost instantaneously, because my woman, my lady, my queen, not McQueen, not Lightning McQueen, but McQueen. You know that all those Reddit neckbeards like to scream in the fucking comments. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Oh man. They've been made to believe that they don't have all of this privilege. Obviously, history has proven time and time again that that's the case. Right? That is the case. So, and look, you know, you could say that life had an experiment being done with our special forces units. You know, there were women that were going through, and every one of them were failing. It was only until they lowered the standards for them that they began to pass. And look, women will they'll never be able to compete with men. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's reality. You have to face it. It's reality. Get over it. All right. I'm tired of this. Women can do anything that men can do. Yeah. Except tell the truth. And communicate. Obviously, I'm joking, but look, listen, boys. Women have always been the privileged, okay? They've always been the ones that have stayed behind in the tribes, right, while the men went out and hunted. They've had the privilege of becoming queens. They've had the privilege of, well, I mean, I don't think it'd really be a privilege to be a dancer or anything, but if they like doing that, sure, whatever. But what I'm saying is that they've had the privilege to step into the public space, right, while also maintaining the private space too. And women have had the extra privilege. I mean, they're extra privileged here, right? Because they're propped up so much. Everything is about women. Valentine's Day is about women. Christmas is about women. About your wife. What you gonna get your wife for Christmas? Mother's Day. They even made Father's Day about women. Come on, bro. Dude. The one day out of the year for men, specifically. Women have interjected themselves into almost every space men have. That's true, boys. The Boy Scouts, sports. I mean, the college coach that let the female kicker in, and she did an absolute terrible job. She made an embarrassment out of herself. So, women have always had that privilege, man, and that's not going away. That's not going away. See, women are the ones that carry the children. They're the ones that nurture the children, right? That's why they're so privileged. That's why they're so preserved, right? They have a higher cost when it comes to reproduction. It's instinctual at the end of the day. But listen, humanity has always had these conversations, right? And I just told you about one earlier, right, about the late 1800s, early 1900s that a lot of people don't know about, right? You know, a lot of people also don't know that the suffragists were militant. They were 100%. They did what, 14 billion pounds in that time worth of damage. You know, they were setting fires to cathedrals. They were threatening politicians. Oh yeah. You know, so if you didn't know that information, you do now. That's a side of history that they don't like talking about, of course. So, you know. Anyways, boys, this is a little bit of a longer video, but if y'all stick around to the end, y'all the real ones. Appreciate you. Listen, if this video helped you out, please consider liking and subscribing. I'd appreciate it. Listen, boys, let's get this message out, okay? Let's spread this message as far and as wide as we can, okay? We need to get this information out, right? There are men out there that still need this info, right? Lives can be changed, but I need your help to do that, okay? I'm taking a stand and I'm saying something. I'm speaking out, okay? Because I can't sit and not speak and be silent anymore. So help me get this message out, boys. I'd appreciate it. And also, if you want me to talk about something, please let me know, right? You can email me. You can leave a comment in the comment section. Trust me, boys, I read them. I respond to them. So please, please, please. And just let me know what you're thinking, man. I want to hear your stories. You guys have had some great stories. And like I've said before, it inspires me to see your guys' triumphs, right? And the shit that you've been through. I love hearing about it. I'm thinking about doing some streaming here very soon, at least once a week. You know, I'd like to bring you guys on and talk with you guys, right? That's something I have a few plans in the works, but that's one of them. So if that's something you guys are interested in, please let me know. I'd greatly appreciate it. So that being said, boys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, boys, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, okay? You know, this society is constantly beating us down. And we only have ourselves to lift each other up. It's the whole point of this channel, right? So let's come together and let's figure it out together. All right, boys? All right. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.